Hello and welcome to Feng Shui for prosperity, abundance, and wealth. I'm so happy to be here with you all, and I would love to get straight in. My name is Sophia, and I've been practicing and studying and teaching about Feng Shui for over 20 years, and I feel so blessed because it's such a powerful modality and tool to have to help us thrive in life. Because if you think about it, we spend up to 80% of our time inside, right? And we really want to make sure that everything in our environment is flowing and supportive, right? Because it's scientifically proven now, everything is made up of energy. So the energy is either blocking our energy flow, or it's supporting us in all different areas of our lives. So my intention today is that you're going to take away some really good tips, like step-by-step tips of things that you can do in your home, in your space, whether you own or you're renting, it doesn't make a difference. Like even if I stay in a hotel room for one night, I'm going to do my own little bit of feng shuiing, because when we sleep really well, everything's brighter, everything's easy in our lives, and we just feel better. So today we're especially talking about feng shui for wealth and prosperity. So the first thing that I'd love to talk about, as far as welcoming all that prosperity and that good energy flow, those opportunities, that success into our lives, good friendships, love, all of it, we look at the front door, because the front door in feng shui, we say, is where the main mouth of qi comes in, and qi just means like good flowing energy. So some call it prana, different parts of the world have different names for it. But that's where a lot of the energy enters. Of course, it comes in other areas of our home, but the front door is really, really important, because about 70% of that energy comes in the front door. So we want to make sure the front door says, I am welcoming abundance. Now, the beautiful thing about feng shui is it really is a reflection of how we're feeling internally. So of course, it's a must that we do our inner work, because our abundance, knowing that we deserve, having worked through things that block our worthiness, our self-love, that ability to receive, that inner work has to happen. So we've got to do that. And then as we do that, we think, oh, my environment really needs to reflect that higher vibration now that I've done that inner work. I've done that shadow work, I've done that healing. So that's a really vital part. And it can happen simultaneously as well, because the more that we raise the vibration in our home, the more that we go, oh, like, I want to operate from this place of self-love and knowing that I'm worthy. So the front door is where a lot of the good energy comes in. So the first thing that we want to look at is we want to make sure the front door can open all the way. So a lot of times people are blocking with shoes and coats and things that are at the front door, or piles of stuff. So if your front door can't open all the way, it's saying that it can't open fully to receive all that wealth and abundance. So that's number one. That's the first thing. We have to make sure it opens fully. You want to make sure the front door, the bell is working, the knocker is working, if there's a mailbox, and everything is in good working order. Sometimes you go up to your front door and the key gets jammed and it doesn't work, or the door sticks. That's basically reflecting not fully being here, not fully embracing kind of the presence in your home. And, if the key's getting stuck, it's like things are getting stuck in our lives. So if you even just focused on the front door, so the energy is welcoming and everything is in good working order, the doorbell rings, the knocker is working, and that you love the look of it. Like, look at the color. Now, the color is a little bit more, there's so many layers to feng shui, and today I really want to go over things that you can take with you and implement right away. But the color is really based on the direction that your house sits. So that would be a kind of a more advanced class. But either way, we want something that's warm and welcoming and that captures, the eye. There's superstitious things that every front door should be red, and that's not true. You'd only really want a red front door if your house faced north, which means it would sit south, which is fire, or if it also sat in earth directions, which is southwest and northeast. Then they're the only times you'd want a red front door. But something bright, something beautiful, something welcoming. Because if your front door is all chipping paint and it's really dirty, that is not like a high vibration to welcome all that good abundance. So clean the front door, make sure it's in good working order, make sure it opens all the way. I have a little ritual, I have lots of rituals. I live life in that mindful way, but I open up the door every morning. I open up all the windows and, you know, I'll see all the curtains, and I invite all the beautiful energy to come into my space, right? I invite all that gorgeous energy to flow into the space. So it's this beautiful ritual, but I just love opening the curtains and the windows and inviting the elements in, the fresh air, and that's a beautiful way to cleanse the energy of your space, which we'll talk more about. So front door is really important, and if you've got a gate, you want to make sure the same thing. You want to have your boundaries, which are really important in our lives, our energetic boundaries, our physical, emotional, mental boundaries, because that's how we treat others to be with us, right? Like these are my boundaries. And so it's the same thing with our homes. We want to make sure, you know, if there's a garden, that there's a fence and a gate up there that works. Now it can have a lock on it or a bolt or anything that you feel comfortable with, but then it's nice to have some kind of a welcome mat at the front door, because that's welcoming out. And everything that we do in Feng Shui, we do it with the power of intention. We all understand how powerful our thoughts are and that intention that we put out into the world. And wherever our attention goes is where our energy flows, and that's what gets enhanced, right? So we want it to be on that welcome mat, that welcoming, so the space is open and welcoming for all of those beautiful opportunities to come flowing into our lives. So that's really important. So we want to make sure that there's nothing prickly or sharp at the front door, no cactus, nothing with sharp arrows, sharp points. We want it to be really, really welcoming. So that's number one, like definitely start at the front door, making sure it's really warm and welcoming and nothing's blocking it, and we don't want to put bills there so we see them, because a lot of it is how do you feel when you enter your space, right? So do your spirits rise and do you feel amazing, or do your spirits fall? Because ideally what we want to come into our homes and we want to feel like we're receiving this embrace, like we're receiving love and this hug, and we can feel the abundance and we feel inspired. Like that is really vital in our space, and you deserve that, beloved. We all deserve to enter into our space and feel safe and feel abundant and feel content in our space. So we want our vibrations to rise. So then the next thing is when you enter in your front door, what is the first thing that you see, right? What is the art? Of course, we never want to have a mirror directly across from the door, because the energy is flowing in, and if there's a mirror, the mirror deflects the energy and can push the chi back out. So ideally what we want is a beautiful piece of art that inspires us, that lifts us up, that really, you know, lets us step into that place of bounty and beauty and abundance, where our spirits rise and we feel inspired. So the next thing that I would suggest is that you activate what we call our wealth area in Feng Shui. So the southeast corner, so whether you're renting a room, the southeast corner of that room, or the southeast whole section, because you divide your home into 9 different areas, the southeast is your wealth and prosperity. So we want to make sure there's no clutter there, or we don't want clutter in the house full stop, but especially in the southeast, which is the wealth and prosperity area. This year, just for this year, we would like to have water there. Now that changes in February of every year. So for this year, you can have water. And if you don't want to have a little fountain or a little fishbowl there, just add things that represent abundance to you. You can make a wealth vase. You could have your vision board there. You could have a wealth altar full of beautiful crystals that represent wealth, like citrine and amethyst and green quartz. You could have like whatever represents wealth and abundance to you on that area. It could be beautiful fresh flowers and reds and purples, which are all colors for abundance. The artwork could really be like, it could be that you can, it's like what you connect with. When you look at it, does it bring you into that vibration of wealth? Like whether it's Lakshmi, who is the Hindu goddess of wealth, or whether it's even this beautiful image of a field of flowers or a forestry or whatever it is, or it could even be an image of water that brings you into wealth and prosperity. So that's the most important thing. So that area in the southeast area is to do with wealth and abundance. And if you're really looking to kind of step into more of your purpose, your soul work, your career, that's the north area of the home. So we want to activate that as well. And this year, that's a very abundant area. Both the southeast and the north are very abundant areas to spend time in, to open the windows in. And the north is all about, you know, moving forward in your career and in your life, but it also represents your life's journey. So what could you place there? Maybe an image of a labyrinth that represents a journey in life. Maybe you have your business cards there. Maybe you have your degrees, diplomas, or a book that you've written, or a book that inspires you, you place in that area. Because that north area is to do with career and moving forward in life. So there are two areas that I highly recommend activating, making sure there's no clutter, there's nothing broken in those areas. We want it just to be really high vibration and to feel really, really good. The next location is the kitchen. So the kitchen is very much so about wealth and prosperity. So we really only want to have out on the kitchen counters that which we use on a day-to-day basis. Because the kitchen represents like that bounty and abundance and how we nourish our bodies, and the stove and the cooker really represents that as well. So we want to make sure everything's in good working order, that all the rings on the stove are working, and if they're not, that's representing a lack of abundance. I also recommend, because a lot of the time when we're standing, you know, cooking and stuff, we've got our back to everything. And in Feng Shui, we really want to be empowered and have solid support behind us and that expansiveness out in front. So when we're at the cooker, the stove, we've got our back to everything. So I do suggest something reflective right above the stove that will enhance prosperity and abundance, right? And it reflects and it doubles. So when we're cooking our food, it doubles the bounty and the abundance in our food. So we want to make sure everything's clear off the kitchen cabinets. And then this is an amazing opportunity to go through all your kitchen cabinets. And if you've got those old things that are starting to expire, you know, go through spices, dishes you don't use, extra pots, like make space. Only have, when it comes to decluttering, what you love, need, and use. Love, need, and use. And if it doesn't match those, it shouldn't be in your cupboards, right? So this is a beautiful time to clear out the fridge, the freezer. Just take one thing at a time. Rome was not built in a day, and just bit by bit. And what happens is, as you start to implement some of these suggestions, things start flowing. Like a lot of the time, clients are like, oh my gosh, these checks started coming in the door. I got a refund from this, and that came in, and that. And so it's opening up that flow. And remember, every single thing you do it with the power of intention. So it's a beautiful time just to fix anything that's broken, bulbs, light bulbs that are gone out, cracks in mirrors or glass, or clocks or watches, you know, that aren't working. They're representing stagnicity. So we really want to have everything in really good working order. So another tip for wealth and abundance is your plants. Have all your plants thriving and healthy, inside and outside, right? And in that southeast area, which is the wealth area, I highly suggest a money tree. And you know, they're the ones with the braided stems to them. Or you can do the jade, those really rounded, kind of thicker leaves. They're really good representing wealth or abundance. You can bring them in around your home. But by bringing plants in general, what plants do is they grow up. So they're constantly raising the vibration. They're lifting the chi up. They're giving out oxygen. They take away the carbon dioxide. And they're beautiful. Feng Shui is all about reconnecting us with nature. So we want to bring in the plants. We want to bring in the crystals. And if you've got any plants that are not thriving and doing well, give them something they need, like coffee granules. See if they need any kind of, like sometimes seaweed. Like I like to use kind of the natural stuff, but into the plants. You know, do they need a good watering? Do they need to be trimmed? And get everything thriving, because our plants are really reflecting, and just like everything in our environment is reflecting how we're feeling internally and how the energy is flowing or not flowing. So get all your plants in really, really good, healthy, thriving condition. If you don't have any bring some in, and do your homework, because if there's no light in a certain room and you want to plant, well, what would do okay in there? Or for a room that gets a lot of sunlight, like what kind of a plant would do well in there? So have a look at your artwork as you go around your space. Is the artwork reflecting who you are and where you want to go, or is it reflecting the past? And is it time to start letting go of things? Because we really want to make sure that everything in our home is reflecting who we are and how we want to move forward. So another huge thing for abundance is decluttering. And I know I talk about it every single time, but it is so huge. It's like decluttering our thoughts, unplugging, emotions that are stuck. So the same thing in our home. Stuff that does not resonate with us anymore, that's not working, that's broken, clothes that you don't wear anymore. It's time to create space. Because if you want to bring in more abundance, if you want to bring in love, if you want to have more energy, you've got to be willing to let go of things that are weighing you down. That's so vitally important. Now let me see if I anything else. Yeah. So the last two things I'd like to suggest. So for your work, if you would like your work to go more globally and expand more, the Northwest area is to do with business expansion. So I would suggest a globe, a map of the world, and you could even put in pins or mark on the globe where you want to be more globally. And really, again, it's that power of intention that you put out there. You could put that also in the north area, which represents career. So it's like, okay, this is how I want to expand. And I'm a firm believer, I love creating vision boards, but also affirmations. So describing, okay, if you'd like more abundance in your life, that's great. But like, how would that feel? How does that feel internally to be more in that abundance space, right? To open yourself up to more of that. What does that look like? What are you doing or what are you not doing? So really getting clear. And affirmations are very much so written like they're already happening in present tense. And then more about what it is you want to bring in and how you want to align with that. So I suggest in the southeast area, writing your affirmation for wealth and prosperity. And in the north, writing about your career and what that looks like. And then one other thing, that I said earlier on I would cover is space clearing, because everything's made up of energy. And if people, of course, have lived in our homes before us, or even if we're living in a new home that the builder's working in it, or where the supplies came from, or the energy of the land, because the land holds energy as well, right? We're living in all of these different energies, or just even in your own life. You're not feeling well, you have an argument or disagreement with something, or something happens, and all that energy stays floating around the house. So we want to keep that vibration really high. So I mentioned earlier on that I like to open up all the doors and windows. I do that every single day, and that really keeps the energy flowing and stops it really getting stagnant, right? So that's huge. But then I like to, and one thing I've been doing more recently, I love sage, and I grow my own sage and I use that. But I also love oak leaves, just drying those out. And I mean, they represent beauty and sovereignty, and they're the gateway to the other worlds, and for cleansing the space. So I mean, I don't like to pull branches off trees or anything like that, but if they will fall from the tree, and you can gather them and dry them out. And then if you just have like a ceramic bowl or something, you just open everything up in the house, you ground your energy, and then you call in the guides that you would like to work with, right? Call in, and then you set your intention for what you'd like to do. Cleanse the space, let go of old stagnant energy, and then you walk around the space, you light up the oak leaves, and you burn them in the bowl, and you walk around the space, offering that to cleanse. And you go to every corner that you feel called, spend extra time wherever you're intuitively feeling called, and you go around your entire space, and then just let the leaves burn. Let them burn, and let them do the work. Let them do the cleansing, because it's always just that source energy that's flowing through us, right? And then I love to use some kind of sound vibration. So whether you chant, where you've got a special prayer or a song, or you clap your hands, or if you've got any kind of a singing bowl or a drum, you can go around the space again with that power of intention that you're cleansing the space, that you're raising the vibration. And then you end at the front door, and then you set all your intentions. So may my home, or whether it's your workspace, be filled with love and connection and joy and abundance and prosperity and happiness and strength and sovereignty, and just all the things that are important to you to bring into the space. And you just invite it all in, and then you close the sacred space. So beloveds, just a quick recap. Front door, or the main entrance, both into the space, welcoming everything in good working order, opening the gate and the door fully, having good boundaries, locks, everything working really well, nothing getting jammed. The kitchen, countertops clear, stove in good working order, the reflective piece behind the stove, clearing out all the kitchen cabinets, and then just letting go of anything from clothes that you don't wear and you need or love, right? So making space, making sure the plants are all in good working order, opening up the space, activating the wealth corner in the southeast, activating the career area in the north, placing that globe either in the northwest, which is business expansion area, and then your daily ritual of inviting all that beautiful energy into the space. So it is my absolute joy and honor to be here with you today, beloveds. I will be back on Friday because this is the perfect time to do Feng Shui for wealth, because we're just coming up on Lunasa here, which is, that second harvest, and the bounty and the abundance and the sovereignty of the land is so present with us. So join me on Friday at 12 as I'll be going more deeply into, what this time of year represents, and the sun god Lu, and the beautiful Danu, the divine mother goddess. So I'm really looking forward to being back with you again on Friday, and happy Feng Shui, beloveds. Sending lots of love. Bye.